What's up, guys? I'm the world's best Smash coach. I put lessons exclusively on METAFY. So if you want a galaxy brain like me, click the link in the description and sign up to learn from a goddamn chat. So guys, for this video, Sora's been out for quite a while now. Probably by the time this video drops, like a month and a half, 2 months. And I just wanted to talk about kind of what I think about him now that's been a while. I've been playing this character a lot. I haven't entered any tournaments with him since recording this video, since like first week he was out. But I play him on friendlies, been practicing him, labbing him, all that stuff. So, how does this character stack up to expectations? Let's start off with the combo game. And honestly, the combo game ended up being a lot worse than I expected, because a lot of his really cool combos, like his nukes, his flukes, his boops, all that stuff is super unreliable, I'd say, inconsistent due to Nair having a lot of different hitboxes. Even fair, like his Nair and fairs have like a lot of different hitboxes with different knockback angles. And so you have to like be really good at reacting and knowing which hitbox you're gonna get for the right combos. And that can make things really awkward. Like you can sometimes get like the perfect forwarder like that, you get like these things going. And then sometimes you like time it slightly differently or just get a different hitbox and suddenly you have to go for like maybe an up B or like a jab. So super inconsistent, also very character dependent, which is not too surprising in Ultimate. But like characters like Roy or Fox get super comboed, but then characters like Village or Puff are like extremely hard to hit with more than small strings. Very high variance in his combo game. And something that's interesting is that for his Nair 1, 2, and Fair 1, 2, the opponent's percent doesn't matter that much. It's Sora's percent that matters a lot. And even then, it's not the biggest change, but like Sora's percent, the rage scaling is pretty relevant on the combo game. And for example, things like Nair up smash will work on Rob. I think at like any Rob percent as long as Sora has 70 plus rage. But if Sora has 0 rage, Rob can air dodge up smash. That's just very interesting. It's actually pretty cool, honestly, because it's once you know the setups, there are some things like Nair up air, fair up B, which is really reliable. But overall, his combo game worse than I expected. He has to go for a lot more like small strings or a mix. Or you have to know like character specific combos, because then there's weird things like Falcon, for example, due to like his animation during hit stun where he kind of like drifts back, it's harder to combo him than you'd expect. When it comes to his neutral kind of ended up being exactly what I think I expected everyone else expected, where it's like he's solid versus characters like Falcon, Mario, even fast characters like Roy or Fox, where he gets juggled kind of hard. But the neutral is pretty good because like this neutral air is a very nice button. This back air ended up being a lot better than I expected. It's like not the best as a falling button because it's reactable. Like rising back air is like pretty good because you can drift pretty far back. You can do like a spell when you're landing to mix people up. So like this to like this can be really strong for defense or for offense even. Forward air is actually a really nice neutral tool because Nair has pretty nice hitbox but it's not insane range or anything. But the forward air range is decently bigger, and while the forward air isn't going to lead to as many combos, you still get things like forward air into like jab combos, which is pretty nice damage, or like forward air into like forward air, even forward air down tilt. You get close up, you can do like forward air Nair sometimes. Forward air is a pretty good move for spacing and neutral, and honestly I feel like it might be a better move than neutral air for the neutral, but it's not as rewarding. And I definitely was looking at Sora going, okay, I'm gonna sneeze. I'm gonna sneeze my opponent. No. Because I thought when this character came out it was gonna be a lot of like trying ways to like run up to someone, like shield and like Nair out of shield, because that seemed like a really strong option and combos that way. And it's still definitely good, but it's not as reliable as using forward air. And I think that's probably his best spot in neutral. Back air is a little bit too slow and does have like mix-ups with 1, 2, 3. Because, to no surprise, doing things like rising aerial to like drift back, react to what the opponent does about it, and then like drift in or not is like really good. Things like this is really good as well, like doing an aerial and then like just bouncing and grabbing as Sakura showed in the direct. Very strong. The spells are okay neutral. Like Faraga is good to get close to people. Thanaga is good for like zoning and getting close. Faraga and Thanaga can both be plus on block with enough distance. And then Blizzaga is interesting. It's a very good spell, but you can't use it to approach. It's more like a punish tool, spacing tool, defensive tool. But yeah, pretty solid. Dash Attack ended up being a really good move. Like sure, it doesn't combo into anything, but crosses up from really far away, goes really far, comes out fast. It can also kill, does decent damage output. Like Dash Attack is just a very, very good move. And also 2-frame can be used as a general ledge trap tool. It does a lot for Sora. This move is really good. And finally, while this down tilt has a lot of combos, it's not a great neutral button in general. However, where it really shines is as a parry punish. Parry down tilt is a very strong tool. And And even though people can DI the down tilt up smash and make you have to go for things like down tilt up air, down tilt up B, or like down tilt back air can frame trap. So even though they can DI the down tilt to make you not the best confirms off of it, they still have to DI it, and you still get stuff off of it pretty well. So you can't spam this move or anything. It is a really strong punish tool. In fact, the Sora also goes low profiles during this move is very nice. And in fact, Sora low profiles during a lot of moves, so you can kind of jank people out sometimes with like falling there, and they try punish, and like look how low he is to the ground. Same with forward air. So that's pretty useful and something I did not expect. For ledge trapping, his ledge trapping is actually a lot better than I expected. For a few reasons. One, showing at the ledge and using there is really strong. Because this covers a lot of stuff. You can cover regular get up, you can cover roll with this on a lot of characters. You can cover basically everything with this when it's timed right and spaced right. Unless the character you're fighting has a really long ledge roll, or is like so short that like you can't hit him with like, the neutral properly. Blizzaga also ended up being pretty dang good for ledge trapping. Even like Blizzaga and Firaga are pretty good for ledge trapping because they stay up well and cover a good amount of space while being like low lag. And then forward tilt. This move ended up being very surprising for ledge trapping. As a 2-frame tool, it's okay, it can be used, but it's not reliable or anything. It's kind of like just rolling the dice. But for ledge trapping, this is insane. Covers regular get up. You can cover jump as well and can cover ledge hold. You can always like walk back a little bit, cover roll with this. And it's some lag on it, but it's not easy to punish if the opponent's not ready for it, especially if you space it right. It's like maybe do like a get up attack, and at that point you don't care. Maybe ledge up aerial, which is a little scarier. But like it's not too much lag. So I ended up really liking the forward tilt for ledge trapping, much more than like the down smash. This down smash ended up being super underwhelming. And also forward smash ended up being a really nice call move for ledge trapping. So overall, is ledge trapping a lot better than I expected. I actually think there's a lot of potential with those ledge trapping still to get really absurd. And combined with his like edge guard and be insane, doing things like going off with like fairs, nairs, and then some people never talk about is just like going deep with up B because you can side B afterwards and like doing really dumb edge guards like that and still making it back. So he can go up and edge guard and kill very well. Like people expected the edge guard to be good. It's even better than I expected. And then for juggling, because he's so slow, I've surprisingly found his juggling game to not be, I mean, it's good. The up air is still a really good button, and dash attack, up smash, all these things are good tools. But his lack of speed means it's really hard to catch people sometimes in the air. So I feel like when people are landing above him, especially when this platform is around, he isn't the best at covering that. Still a really good juggling game, really good advantage state in general, despite the neutral being okay. I also mentioned real quick, this jab ended up being a really good move. Figured the move was gonna be alright, but I really like it. You can end combos with it when you want like just a very simple combo ender. It can be like a very reliable combo ender, set people off stage. Anti-airs comes out fast. Doing something, for example, like falling like nair to jab. Really stuffs out a lot of options. You can also use forward tilt for a similar effect, but it's just not as good because it's a slower move. That can be decent as well. When it comes to his disadvantage, his landing game kind of ended up being exactly what everyone expected, where it's like he's trying to land. He stinks at this. Like even with like the down air mix-ups, and the fact that he has a really good counter, which by this counter is absurd for everything. Even neutral doing things like Firaga on the counter, actually really good, or like with aerial to counter, really strong, kind of janky, really strong. Definitely gets juggled pretty hard, has to go to ledge a lot, and his recovery is not as good as we expected. It goes really far, so he makes it back from almost anywhere, but there's a huge blind spot on it. When he's up being, a blind spot right above him. He also has a good amount of lag before he can side B after up being. So if you do like that, a good opponent can hit you before you can side B, and because the first side B only has like going to the side, you could also just like hit him, like just straight up. I think good Sora players can mix up their side Bs pretty hard with the second, third ones, so it's hard to edge guard that. And plus, you can do things like this where you side B, and then you have like, you can do like slight angles in the side Bs, like this. Oh, it's so hard to do. You gotta practice it still. It's like that. So like because you can like do like in between angles, you can really like mix up your side Bs. It's very hard to hit, but it's still too frameable. Like if you're forced to side B at certain distances and certain angles, it's very like easy to 2-frame with a lot of characters, or just trip edge guard, not even 2-frame. And the final way is at the ledge. People expected his ledge game to not be that great, and honestly, his ledge game is absurd. Like planking Sora, I think everyone knew this was gonna be a thing. But I don't think people realize how good it is. You not just gotta beat someone through planking, of course, you gotta hit them at some point, and some characters can deal with it. But for the most part, not only is this very good defensively, it gives him amazing ways to get on stage. Like ledge up, like Firaga, it's like side B. is such an annoying thing to deal with because it's like you have to just deal with all this pressure. He's some ways to get on stage by threatening the spells, by threatening with his air drift, even just threatening by like not using a spell and landing on stage is so annoying too. Like, oh, he's gonna throw Naga? Oh, he's on stage now. For a lot of characters, he's like uncontestable, or they have to do things like stand back here and like wait for him to get on stage, which he doesn't get out of the corner well. So like he's here and he's kind of not a great spot. But even just the fact they get onto the corner of the stage pretty reliably is really strong. I know it's kind of just a rant, but overall I think this character is pretty darn good, but not as good as I want him to be. I don't think he's a top tier or anything. He's kind of looks like a very solid high tier to me. Like a character with some clear weaknesses, but nothing too exploitable because he's very well rounded. But his strengths aren't nearly as strong as expected, and there's like a lot of subtleties to his strengths, like the inconsistent combo game or the lack of speed to make his juggle game absurd, which hold him down. But he's a really strong and fun character, and I'm playing a lot, so I might pull this out in tournament at some point. Don't know. If anything, he's at least like a funsies character for me. Hope this was interesting.